Hello, everyone. Oh, there's a bit of echo. Sorry. So, I'm gonna let like just 1 minute for people to sit down and go if they want. Um, sorry. Um, so, I'm Gauthier Zuppinger. I'm the founder of nonfungible.com. It's really hard to start this way. Can I? Yeah. Okay. Okay. I continue. No worries. So, today we'll be spending some time together, about 45 minutes, just to. Too loud? Is it better? Yep. Okay. So, um, we are going to analyze basically how to survive an NFT crash. So we'll be spending a lot of time together just to decrypt what you can do in the worst case scenario where you tried to sell an NFT collection, but you failed. These things happen, but you won't die. You just have to find the best plan. So, I'm the founder of a company called nonfungible.com. So we've started in 2018, in actually April 2018, when NFTs were not a thing, not a market yet. And what we do is historically market research, reporting. We've been publishing a lot of reports over the past 5 years. And more recently, we've started to support brands in their NFT journey. Not because we are, not just because we are in love with this, just because we have so much track record with NFTs. We have analyzed so many rise and falls, so many crashes. So we know basically what happens, and we know what are the best moves after such things. So in a nutshell, we monitor the performance of these projects. We help them on their tokenomics, on the utility, when we have a chance to help them before. We do a lot of storytelling. We help them defining the supply, the pricing, and sometimes the global sale mechanics. That's about us. Now, let's talk about crashes. That's basically the situation you are in. You have spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, and money just to issue a collection of NFTs. But right now, only a quarter of the supply has been sold. The floor price is currently 50% below the primary market price. But hopefully, the media are supporting you, as you can see for Porsche or for Logan Paul. These are actual situations. So you are in this case. So your C-levels are super happy. Media are with you. Your community love you. Everything's all right. So this is the kind of situation that a lot of brands are facing right now. We'll be studying concrete use case, business case of companies that are in this case. So today, we'll just spend some time to review what should you do next. So there are 7 steps, in my opinion. The first one is just to review what you got. Okay, you may have failed, but it's not over. You have some stuff on the table, how to make the most out of it. You should measure what is this crash. Is this an actual crash, or do you perceive this as a crash? Why did you crash? So try to explain, decrypt why people has not perceived the value of your assets. What happened? And then, what to do next? What plan? You should test your plan. You should communicate on your plan, and you should measure that your plan works well. So, if we enter into more details, the landscape is that, once again, you tried to sell your collection of NFTs. So, if you haven't sold out, or if you are in this kind of situation, it means, in a nutshell, that your value proposition has not convinced. People has not perceived the value of what you were trying to sell. So, what do you have left? What's on the table from a Web3 NFT standpoint? Firstly, you have NFTs for the best and for the worst. you can't take them back. These NFTs are on chain forever. Now, you have a couple hundreds, thousands maybe, of assets in the wild. So you have to deal with it. We'll explore that a little deeper. But it's, at the end of the day, a good thing. You have people waiting for you. Once again, for the best and the worst. You have holders. They may hate you right now, but they are waiting for you. So it means that I personally think this is a good thing, because even if they are upset, they know who you are, they have spent some time and attention to you, and they now expect something out of you. It's way better than no one caring about you. And the last thing is you probably, I hope, have a roadmap. But this roadmap may be the pain point. It may be the reason why people haven't purchased your NFTs. Just because you haven't convinced them that these NFTs worth being bought. They don't have time, these people don't have time and money to buy your NFTs. That's basically what it means. So if we wrap things up, you have a community waiting. You have people that are just waiting for your next move. You have assets in the hand of your clients. These people are now your clients. You may not know them really well, but they expect something from you. And you have a roadmap. I would say you can't change this. You can't change this. You can't change that. That's where you should focus. It's what are you going to do with these assets, and what are you going to promise to offer to this community? There may be only 20 people, 200 people, 2,000 people, whatever the volume, you have people. And as I say, honestly, having upset people waiting for you is way, way better than having no one caring about your project, whatever the number. My main advice, honestly, if you just want to take one picture and leave, it's okay, it's this one. Never, ever try to forget about the past, about what you've done. You've already built something. You build on what you've done and keep moving forward. Never, ever try to bury this collection. And we've seen so many brands being like, I tried to sell something, okay, it's a fail, let's move to something else. Because basically, it's just creating a story of you not following your project. You sell, you forget about it. But people have spent money. They expect something out of you. You have actually to offer them something. So don't forget about what you promised and just adjust. The goal now, you most likely have less budget because you've disappointed your C-levels. So now you have to deal with it. So the challenge now is to do more with less. You have a community, you have committed to do something, you have promised. Now you have to deliver something that is more valuable than what you initially proposed. So, I'm from a data background, so I would definitely recommend you to try to measure this crash. What exactly happened? So, the first thing is, did you have goals? What were your goals? It was just profit? Do you just want to make money, like minimum 2 billion profit? Okay, you just made 2 million and not 2 billion. Is that a crash? It's just a matter of what was your goal. Do you just want to create just an initial footprint in the NFT space just to start? If it's just a test, you may not have crashed, you may not have failed. You have made an actual initial footprint in the space. If you just want to create a small Web3 community, you are not in Web3, you just want to have your first Web3 members, it may be a success from that standpoint. If you want to create with a new audience, or just if you want to create the new Bored Ape Yacht Club. Okay, your expectations may not be realistic. That's part of the process. What were your goals? Have you succeeded in this goal, or maybe you've accomplished something else? So, the metrics you have to look at, you have some super mega basic metrics, and that's basically what every brand is looking at. Volume traded and number of sales. If you haven't made like that many thousands ETH of volume, it's a fail. Not necessarily. These are not the right metrics to look at. A lot of people only look at the floor price. Floor price is just about the market, about the price. I am talking about the value. The actual value of the asset may be just because it's useful, not because it's expensive. And as well, from a trading standpoint, so you may just consider that you've made money out of this sale. So you've made money out of the primary market or out of the secondary market fees. That is just one piece of the puzzle. I personally consider that the most valuable metrics to look at are about the community. So what is the retention of the community? Are people leaving your project after they bought it? How many orders do you have? How people talk about you? You may have only 200 people, but if they are super excited, super happy about what you've done, and they really are spokesperson for you, it's not a fade. It's just a different kind of success. And about the community activity as well is, what do they do? Are they connected every day? What are they doing for you? How do they actually interact with each other? That's the kind of things you should monitor too, and not only limit to profit and market activity. These are probably among the worst metrics possible, because this is about how people make money out of your assets. So these are two actual cases, two real situations we've analyzed. Case A, you sold out. You have about 5,000 orders. You have made about more than 10,000 ETH of volume. Most of them, 80% are traders. They have super high expectations because they paid a lot, like 2, 3 ETH for your assets. But at the end of the day, does that really have an impact on your brand? Will these people ever buy something that you produce? Are they really in love with you as a brand? Actually, they just are in love with the money they are making out of your assets. Case B, you only sold 50% of your supply. Your orders moved from, 4,000 to 1,500. So you have less orders. Okay, you've made a decent volume of ETH, not that much. You have basically no trading, not much secondary market activity. But everyone in these 1,500 are happy. They actually like what you've done, and they really are spokesperson for you. This is a success. This, in my opinion, is a fail. But most people are taking this kind of case as the example of what you should do. But it's not only about how much money you make on the market right away. It's a long-term plan. If you only limit to how much volume you are doing, yeah, you will just make some traders happy, but you will not build something long-term. So, as I said, it's about expectations and points of comparison. So let's take some reasonable and realistic points of comparison. We'll take like Bored Ape Yacht Club or CryptoPunks as an example. These were different times, and in the NFT space, 6 months is a lot. If you are taking an example of a brand that sold out like a year ago, this doesn't make any sense because we are not in the same market again. We don't have the same volume of wallets. We don't have the same expectations. And so many people have been disappointed by useless NFTs. So just take something, a point of comparison which is recent enough to compare your own performance, what you've done, what you've accomplished. Try to take figures that are not manipulated. It's super hard. It's extremely hard, to be honest. That's one of the main challenges we have at nonfungible.com, is that there is so much wash trading, so much market making, that if you really want to see how the market is really reacting and how the community is behaving, you have to remove sometimes 80% of the volume. So take real figures and not manipulated figures. And yeah, the other thing is that not every project is comparable. If you are a small brand, if you just want to sell something, don't compare yourself to LVMH. Don't compare yourself to, Doodles, because there's nothing to see between this kind of hype projects and what you want to do. So just take something which looks like you and compare what they've done and what you've done. what you've accomplished and what they've accomplished. Don't try to compare yourself to Body Club because it's already done. The next step is to analyze the reasons of your crash. Why have you crashed? Why went wrong? Because something obviously went wrong. There may be different kind of reasons. External reasons, quantitatives, and qualitatives. Honestly, most are internal reasons, a bit of external reasons. Let's start with external reasons. So the first thing, and we are in this right now, is that the global market crashed. We are in a bear market. It's a fact. There is less people, there's less activity, people are not super inclined to spend a lot of money. Okay, these things happen. That definitely has an impact on your collection. Another big sale occurred at the exact same time. So it's not something you have control over. You plan everything for 6 months, and the day of your sale, there is another big sale, and no one will talk about you. You have no control about that. If these things happen, okay, you know it may not be about the quality, value proposition of your project. The latest one, let's be honest, is a technical reason. If there is a network saturation, gas fee is crazy expensive, that may definitely have an impact on your sale too. These are honestly not the main reasons of a fail. Usually, it's about qualitative or quantitative reasons. The supply was too large. If you still want to sell 10,000 because NFTs should be 10,000, no, please don't. Come on. No, you can have whatever supply you want. It's not necessary to have 10,000. The price was not adjusted. It may be too high. If you want to sell something at 5 ETH right now, it won't work. If you want to sell something which is way, way, way too low, it may not sound valuable either. So there is nothing only about NFTs. I mean, whatever you want to sell, just think about the pricing first. And the last point as well is the communication. You may just not have made enough marketing or communication, or your storytelling was bad. So it's something you have to take into account as well. You have to communicate on your project through the right channels and to the right audience. Honestly, it's mostly about that. Was there a real utility to your asset? Is there a reason for people to spend time, read about your pitch, and spend money and buy your NFT? If there is no utility, usually people will not buy it, except for trading reasons. The lack of vision, both are related, but the thing is that the immediate utility, can I do something with the NFT right now, is the first question. The second one is, okay, I can't do something with the NFT right now. Is there a reason for me to buy the NFT and use it in 6 months, 1 year from now? That may be a reason. If there is no utility right now and I'm unsure about the utility it may have one day, no, there is no reason to buy it. Another one is the lack of fit between the audience and the value proposition. Let's be honest, today the audience is mostly composed of tech people and usually young people. So if you want to create an NFT which is for, I don't know, people that are 70 years old in certain countries, they may just not even know what an NFT is. So you may create a crazy project, but these people don't know about NFTs. So if you don't have a fit between your audience and your value proposition, it won't work. The blockchain as well, that's a technical reason that most people ignore. But if you want to issue an artwork on the blockchain where there is no art, you will not get your audience. Just know where people are. If you want to create a collectible, if you want to create a metaverse, there are certain technical codes for that. You can't launch everything on every blockchain just because people have expectations, and the art community is mostly, for now, on Ethereum and Tezos. And the technical difficulties is that you may have bad developers. And if your smart contract just doesn't work, you have bugs, or your website crashes, or whatever, things like that, that may have a role. So my point is, on all this stuff, just try to ask you the right questions. What happened? Which point of that was wrong in your project? qualitative, quantitative, external. There is obviously one of these points that went wrong. And to be honest, in most of the case, it's these two ones, the lack of utility and vision. And just want to spend one more minute on this one, but the thing is that with NFTs, we've made one of the rookie mistakes, is that we've considered that NFTs add a value in themselves, just because it's a new technology. It has no value. An NFT is in itself has absolutely no value. It's what you can do with it, so what it represents that has a value. Is this NFT able to change my life in any way? Not to completely change my life, just a small impact is enough. If it has no impact on my life, it's a useless NFT. Now, we've analyzed what went wrong. We know that we've made something wrong. Most likely, as I said, about the utility or the vision. Let's work on the plan. So, the first thing is to evaluate the cost, the timeline, and the risk. Super basic, but just consider that in your plan, in your next steps, it will cost you money, time, and it will be risky because you are going to change something. Whatever it is, it may be the blockchain, it may be the roadmap, it may be the immediate utility. Whatever you change, you are taking a risk. You have to share this plan to your core community. As I said, you have people. You have 20 or 200 people or 2,000. They expect something from you. And some of them will be really happy to help you just because they want this project to succeed. So just share your plan with your core community, with your advocacy. Once you basically have a good feeling that your plan is not, okay? Okay. Once you have you know that your plan is basically good and it works, it may work, it may have an impact on your community, just communicate the plan. Don't be shy. Okay, you feel like you failed. Now it's not over. You just have to move forward. So communicate that plan. Explain to people what will change, what will be the impact, what will be the value for them. And of course, roll out your plan. But basically, you'll have to spend a lot of time just there. Evaluate the plan. So, just a quick list for everyone, just in case of. Capitalize on the assets and the community you have. Focus on what your project or brand can provide, the value you can provide. If you build cars, that's probably what people expect from you. You probably have a lot of legitimacy in what you do. Don't try to do something else. If you are into gaming, don't try to do something else. That's what people expect from you. Think about additional, innovative, new utilities. Honestly, for now, I think that 1 to 2% of what NFTs can be has been explored. We can do so many new, innovative things with NFTs. There is no boundaries, just taking a risk and experiment. Put even the wildest options on the table. I will show you a concrete example of something we've done for a fashion brand in the next few slides, where some really wild options have been explored. Please don't drop a new collection right away. As I said, don't bury your collection. Don't try to do something to forget about the previous one. It's not like this time it will be the right time, the previous one was a fail. No, you've done something, now you have to move forward. Yeah, and the other thing, just don't consider that people are too stupid, they haven't understood your value proposition, and change nothing. Like, it will take time, but people will understand one day. No, you may just have a value proposition which is not good enough. But it's super hard to understand. When you spend 6 months, 1 year working on your project, you have to put your ego aside and change everything. Just a quick reminder that NFTs are already out. You don't control them anymore. They are on the blockchain for life. The only thing you have control on is the value through the utility. You have control on that. You have control on what they can do, what they can bring to the holders. And this is your plan. You have to change what these NFTs can, how they can impact the holder. So, The first step, sorry, there is no transition between these two slides. Um, so, yeah, the first question I should ask you as a brand is, what value do your brand bring to your customers today? As I said, you are a car manufacturer. You build cars. People love your cars. Don't try to make shoes. I have a concrete example in mind for the ones that know it. Trump posed this question to NFTs. I mean, if you are extremely good at that, NFTs could bring something to your current customers. How can my brand bring a lot of value to this person? So just consider NFTs as a medium, just a way for you to bring value to these holders. The use case, the actual utility, will one day be transformed into financial value. Don't chase financial value, chase value in the utility. I had to blur it, unfortunately, because I am under NDA with them. But this is an actual case of a fashion brand I've been working with, where we had to put on the table, as I said, all the options. So the question was, what is the cost or risk of all the possible options, and what is the cost and what is the value? So we had about 20 use cases, 20 utilities, from the most simple one. For example, here you have something like just organize side events. So if you hold the NFT, you can access side events. Okay, fine. It's not crazy. It doesn't cost anything, but it's not super interesting. And basically, you just put all your ideas, like a complete brainstorm, no limitations, no boundaries, no notion of price to begin with, and then you organize them. You basically, if you do this right, you will have some sort of a vision for the next 10 years of what your brand can do with NFTs. And some use cases have been already done again and again, like accessing side events, like accessing special drops or free airdrops. It's fine. You can do better. Try to do better. And on the extreme case here, you have some super long-term plan that will change your entire organization, your entire brand. It means that not only you, but all your services, all your departments have to change something to use NFTs, to work with them and provide value to your clients. And at the end of the day, the ones you will pick are most likely in this area, because that's the one that bring actual value, a lot of value to your holders, and that will not cost you millions and millions. So this is the kind of things we are doing with a lot of brands these days, just because they have to explore all the wildest options possible. So I just want to spend some time on actual case studies of brands. I may not have worked with them, but at least I've analyzed what they've done. They may have done something right, and they have done something wrong too. Everyone has heard about this one, Porsche. So what happened? It's a funny example because so many people, even 5 minutes before my talk, told me that Porsche was not really a fail, because right now, if you look at the floor price, it's quite high. Indeed, the floor price is quite high, so it may look like a success. So Porsche wanted to sell, it was about 10K NFTs, like the usual supply, and they sold about 2.3 thousand of them. So as I said, about a quarter of the supply has been sold. They announced after like 4 or 5 days that they would cut the supply after 5 days. So, okay, we haven't sold out, we accept it. But the day before they cut the supply, 2 wallets out of nowhere with absolutely no track record arrived, each of them with $250,000. They had no track record, they never bought any NFT, they never transferred any crypto. And they bought for $500,000 US of NFT Porsche. How surprising. Just, I'm not saying that Porsche manipulated the sale. I have absolutely no proof, so I'm not saying this. But someone, or corporation or whatever, did this. And if you look at these 2 wallets, you can look on OpenSea, that's super obvious. The only thing they've done is purchasing Porsche NFTs. So their plan was basically to pump the floor. And they did it. And today, these 2 wallets keep buying Porsche NFTs again and again. This is not a plan. This is market manipulation. So, but they did it in a way where a lot of people think that it's a success. The value proposition was not there. I mean, if you look at the project itself, the value proposition was basically just to get a digital car you could customize. Okay, fine. What can you do with it? Nothing. And I'm personally a Porsche fan. I haven't bought anything. Just because, no use case. The second one is actually pretty discreet. I've never heard anyone talking about Lamborghini. It's a super interesting example. So the plan of Lamborghini was basically to sell their collection. So it was quite interesting because it was really related to their history. So they've launched in 1963. So they had 4 collections they wanted to sell every month for a year. 4 collections. 3 of them had a supply of 1,963 assets. And the latest one was about only 196. Anyway, it's about 6,000 NFTs every month to sell for expected 1.5 million profit every month. The reality is that they are selling about 70 NFTs every month. For just a simple reason is that they are extremely expensive. And they decided about the price 1 year ago during the bull market. You can't have the same pricing now than you had 1 year ago. And it's not because you are Lamborghini or Porsche that you will be selling for 1.5 millions of NFTs every month. And I really strongly recommend you to look at the design of the NFTs themselves. It's not something I would like to buy. And once again, I'm a huge fan of Lamborghini. So what happened there is that they decided of their plan way before the sale, and they considered the market won't change. You can't. You have to adapt. You have to adjust your plan, your pricing, and your supply to the market conditions. They haven't done that. So right now, they keep trying to sell this supply. And the latest thing interesting about Lamborghini is that no one is talking about them because it's extremely hard to access these figures because they are not on Ethereum, they are on Flow. So in that case, their technical choice is actually kind of smart because it's super hard to access data, actual data on Flow. So you have to spend a lot of time on the marketplaces, see exactly how many orders and everything. But for Porsche, everyone knows about their fail because you can see it. On OpenSea, it's super obvious to see the fail. On Flow, it's super hard. So this is a smart move, I guess. So I'm sorry about this one because I know some of the people that have worked with them. But Renault, you probably know about Renault. So the initial plan they had was probably not the best one, I could say. So they have actually made a lot of sales. One of the latest one was about the racing shoes. When I checked it, it was maybe a week and a half ago, they have sold 309 of these NFTs. So you could basically get a pair of sneakers. Renault, sneakers. Why? I mean, as I said, what is the point of issuing shoes if you are a car manufacturer? There's so many of the super interesting things you could do. I mean, Renault has a crazy story. I know personally a lot of people that are really in love with this brand. They will never buy a shoe from Renault. There are fans that bought them, it's a fact. But at the end of the day, there are so many super interesting things they could have done, which is really related to the core of the activity. And I think that the pricing may not have been the right one too. I totally understand that Nike sells this kind of digital and physical shoes. It makes a lot of sense. But Nike is not trying to sell cars. The latest example, some people may have forgotten about this one, it was Ubisoft. So everyone knows Ubisoft, obviously. So they've launched a platform called Quartz. Quartz was basically meant to be a marketplace for NFTs, interoperable NFTs within their different games. And they have a crazy firepower. They have a super dense network of games. So it makes a lot of sense actually. But the thing is that you have to understand your audience. And you probably know that a lot of gamers have a love-hate relationship with studios because they love the game, but studios have an image of just being cash grabs, of just trying to sell more and more, DLCs and add-ons and issuing games that are not really finished. So there is always a love-hate relationship with studios. So when a game studio that already have this kind of image is announcing that they will work with NFTs and they will basically work with something which is considered as a massive cash grab for a lot of people, you have a backslash. And they had a super massive backslash from media, from the players, and as well from the team. So the internal communication was actually terrible. So many people from the teams been like, no, we don't want to work with NFTs. We don't know why we've done that. So at the end of the day, they had to stop Quartz after 4 months. But to be honest with you, I definitely think there was a real massive value proposition in this kind of platform. Having NFTs that could be interoperable between the different games of Ubisoft, that's cool. I mean, if I can buy something that could offer me like a complete journey between all Ubisoft games, yeah, why not? Definitely. But the thing is that the storytelling was not the right one. And people have not perceived the value. They just perceived a cash grab. So that's why they had to cancel it after only 4 months. That's basically it. I think I've been super quick. I had 45 minutes, but yeah, it is what it is. Thank you so much. Do we have time for questions? Yeah? Okay. If there's any question, feel free. If there is no question, I will be available later around there. Thank you so much.